Assalamu alaikum everyone. Pleasure being here. I hope you had a good day in terms of especially this particular topic, which is something over the last 10 years, I think gradually it's come into the corporate sector where the importance of this topic cannot be denied anymore. It's a essential part of any business operations. So I thought I'll just, when Yasmin invited me, I thought I'll just come and talk about what at EFU Life we've done over the last couple of years in terms of bringing in diversity into the culture of the organization and making it very normal to talk about diversity. So I took over the role of CEO exactly 2 years ago. Tomorrow it's going to be 2 years. So yeah, yeah. So in the last 2 years, there has been significant development in terms of this particular concept. And what I thought was that perhaps I can look at diversity with multiple lenses. So what I understood was that throughout today, you've spoken about a lot about gender diversity. And even the last exercise that we saw, there were significant elements of that. And of course, that's something I'll talk about that. But perhaps there are two other areas of diversity, दो और ऐसे areas हैं which I thought के because we have focused on that in EFU Life, I thought कि शायद it'll be useful for you if I touch upon them. So the second area of diversity is what I would put as cognitive diversity. So which is basic diversity in thoughts and approaches to a certain matter. So that's where, of course, gender comes into the picture, but then just having a team with different ideas and different thoughts, that is something, and there's a great value in that. So I'll talk about that. And the last one, which again at our organization we are consciously focusing on, is diversity of generations. So in your organizations, you would have seen at least, I think, 4 generations working together, if I'm not wrong. And I'll talk about that. Within our organization also, we have that scenario. But the benefits of having and consciously focusing on generational diversity has also played a big role in terms of at least our organization and how we want to move forward. And then inclusivity, of course, that sort of, I would put it in a way that inclusivity is like the glue which connects all of this together. So you could have the best diversity, you could have the best gender diversity ratio in the industry, you could have the best cognitive diversity, you could have the best generational diversity, but unless you focus on inclusivity, all of this doesn't really come together. So that's how I'll try and structure my next 15-20 minutes. So gender diversity, I think throughout the day today you would have discussed that a lot, but let me try and sort of tell you where do we stand at EFU Life. And I think we are intentionally going in this direction. This is not accidental in terms of the numbers I'm going to present to you. This is something that maybe started as accidental, but then we are now very conscious where we really want to be. So if you go and sort of search online, you look at McKinsey, you look at Harvard Business Review, we just saw that. If you look at the Boston Consulting Group, so they have a lot of studies, you can go and search them. But there are few insights that come out of those studies, and things like gender diverse teams, they have a better chance in terms of better profitability. So the McKinsey study says up to 25% better profitability of organizations which have gender diverse teams. Harvard Business Review says that because women leaders are considered to be higher in emotional intelligence, empathy, also in terms of inspiring other team members. So this plays a significant role in terms of the business model and growth of organizations. The Boston Consulting Group study says that women leadership, if that's prevalent in a leadership team, innovation increases within organizations. So this is what international studies say. But then when I look at my own organization and what we've consciously done, so out of the distinct about 18, 19 functions that we have within the organization, so these could be departments, these could be verticals, these could be sections. We have around, I would say, 9 females heading these functions out of about 18, 19 functions. So that's more than half. Two of them are here as well, and they are representing our organization. But then we have women leaders who are not confined to just one area. So if I talk about these 8, 9, well, there are actually 9 women leaders who are looking or heading their various functions. So we're talking about right from strategy to growth segments, to financial risk management, to leadership and development, sustainability and social impact, distribution, claims. If you look at the whole spectrum, this is not really confined to the back-end functions or the front-end functions. This is the entire spectrum of the organization. 25% is the representation of females in our organization right now. And I would like this to be at least 35% in the next 3 years. Now, that's not going to happen accidentally. We already have a strategy, and all of this is on merit. This is not something that we are saying that we need to maintain a ratio so that we can present it in our annual reports and it'll look good. We actually feel that there is value in terms of all that we're doing. So how has that happened? How has that helped the organization? So like these international studies, they're saying that if you have a gender diverse team, you will be a better organization in terms of profitability, in terms of innovation. The last few years in EFU Life, this is all we've done. So we focused on innovation. We focused on revisiting our business model. And these women leaders have played a significant role in actually coming out with new ideas, in actually executing those ideas, in leading teams which are predominantly men. And these are successful females who actually demonstrated their abilities and their value to the organization. And today, I'm happy and I'm sort of satisfied that the place where we are at as organization, the men have deep respect for these women because they have actually shown their leadership capabilities in terms of where the organization has gone in the last few years. Our profitability is all-time high. Of course, there are many other factors, but just the fact that there is a diversity of thoughts and diversity of direction within the team, that's really helped us. A lot of new innovation that's happening within the organization, right from, I would say, going into new business segments, expansion of our business, creating new distribution channels, strengthening our risk management capabilities. We've just revamped our learning and development area. That's headed by a female. Our sustainability and social impact, a new vertical that we've created within the organization. Basically, we've moved away from CSR to sustainability and social impact, and that's headed by a female. So a lot of the new areas we've created, females were just better in terms of the pool that we got. They were better in terms of ticking all the aspects of the job description. And overall, we just felt that they would bring in much greater value. And that's exactly what's really happened. So EFU Life is a life example of if you focus on bringing in gender diversity into your business model and you normalize it, it becomes normal for the organization that if a female is leading a team of men, no one should question that because it's all connected to capabilities and the value addition that can be done. So the way we are looking at it is right now that this has gone beyond symbolic. So if it used to be symbolic, it's a good percentage to have. We have moved away from being symbolic, and we are saying that it has to be functionally relevant. It has to make sense functionally. It has to be intentional. So if these 2-3 things come together, I feel every organization in Pakistan can actually go in this direction. So we are consciously working on this one area, and I am confident that in the next 3 years we will be there's 35% at least minimum representation of women in our entire workforce, but we already have close to half, 50% of various key areas being led by women. So I would like to see that also increasing. So that was on the gender diversity part. But I think because I'm sure today you've covered a lot of that, so I won't go into too much detail about gender diversity. But the remaining two parts, which is cognitive diversity and generational diversity, I would just take a bit of time to talk about that specifically. Also because in EFU Life, we have again consciously put that in practice. So cognitive diversity simply means that you collect together people in a group where they have different thoughts, different experiences. Their approach to problem solving is different. I think if you put these three things together, so then it doesn't really matter what's the gender composition of that group. It's about people with different thoughts who can present new ideas, who can actually challenge irrespective of their designation and their position in a hierarchy. So the culture we have in our organization right now is that anyone can challenge my idea. We don't really follow a structure where people are afraid to speak up. We have people who've just joined us like 2 months ago, and when they sit in a meeting with me, the comfort level that everyone has is that they can actually challenge an idea. They can bring in their own perspective. And it's happened many times that innovation, improvements in processes, new ideas have come through this approach of actually challenging each other's ideas, and again doing it respectfully. I think that's also very important, because a lot of times in our corporate culture, I think what we see is that if you're senior and someone junior challenges you, you make it a matter of ego, that how could this happen? But then again, I think at least the way I like to operate is that I know that I don't have all the ideas, I don't have all the answers, even though I'm the CEO and that's what people expect out of me, but that's not the way to work. The way to work is to get everyone together, get their ideas, and I can, quoting a number, 50%, if I were to put a number to this, the last few years, the new things we've done in the company, right from revisiting the organizational structure, to creating new business segments, to improving technology aspects, I can very confidently say 50% of those ideas came through diversity of thoughts. If it was up to me, we would probably have 10% ideas, but the remaining 40% came from those other individuals in the group who were confident enough and brave enough, and who were given a, I would say, a safe space to be able to talk about what they wanted to talk about, and that really has helped the organization. So today the culture is that when we sit together in a meeting, we all are equals. We all remove our titles and we say, okay, this is the problem we are addressing. Let's talk about it as equals. Anyone who brings a good idea on the table, we will see if it works, and if it works, we will go and put it in action. So I think from what I understood from Yasmin, this group that we have here today is a lot of your middle managers. I would think maybe you are, some of you might be department heads or maybe supervisors of teams. So if this is something you're not doing in your team, I just suggest do it for some time and you will see the benefits of that. And again, you'll have to curate all of this, because at times what happens is that okay, I think before I come to that, probably a very important part of this cognitive diversity is what I would say the value of respectful dissent. I think that's very important. So if you do not agree with an idea in a meeting, respectfully you can show your opposite idea. But then how that safe space is created for you to respectfully dissent from a senior individual, that again comes from the top, and it's also a matter of how the culture is evolved. So in our organization, we have normalized dissent. So a lot of times people say that, in a meeting, everyone was disagreeing with your ideas. I said, that's okay. As long as due to that conversation, we we were able to bring out a totally new idea. So there were 5 ideas coming together, and none of the 5 ideas were agreeing with each other. But eventually, out of the 5 ideas, the 6th idea came forward, which is something that we actually worked upon. So whenever I meet heads within organizations at whatever level they are, I suggest to them, try this out. But for a senior person to try this out, you will have to set aside your ego, because if you bring that in, then it will not allow you to accept those differing views that come towards you. So that's something we've very consciously done in EFU Life, and I think it's worked in our favor. It's tremendously helped me, because now instead of my 2 ideas, I have 10 ideas from other individuals. And when we evaluate that, we find that at least 5 of them are workable. And again, I think it's helped us in customer services. It's helped us in elevating our brand forward. It's helped us in creating new partnerships. And I would say a great strength of EFU Life in the last 3-4 years has been working with everyone. So we have broken away from our silo of just trying to do everything on our own. We have almost like 30-40 partnerships with whoever can give us access to potential insurance customers. So as an example, we work with telecommunication companies, because telecommunication companies probably are, the 4 of them together, they cover the entire spectrum of adult Pakistanis. And for us to go and offer our services to adult Pakistanis, this is the best way to connect with them and use their network to offer our solutions. We work with digital payment platforms. We work with ride-hailing services. So if you book a ride, you can buy insurance of EFU Life for maybe 5 rupees maybe. So all these unconventional ways of reaching out to customers, these were ideas a few years ago. And a lot of these ideas came through I would say, diversity of thought. Otherwise, we would not be here. And all of this has helped us. Today, when I say that our profitability is all-time high, our revenue is all-time high, our revenue growth is high, our brand positioning, our market positioning is, we have a greater market share in the life industry. So I think diversity of thought has been one of the significant areas which has really helped us. And coming to the last one, which again is a lot of interest to me, because in the last 15 years we've seen this new generation of workforce coming into the workplace, and suddenly a lot of paradigm shifts have happened. So right now, if you look within all your organizations, I think Mizan Bank was mentioned, even within EFU Life. So in one meeting room, in one meeting setup, we see at times 4 generations together. So we see what we call the baby boomers. So these are individuals who are I would say mid-50s to 70s. So we have those individuals. We have the Generation X, which is around 40 to 55 kind of age bracket. We have the millennials, which is late 20s to the mid 40s. And then we have the Gen Zs, which are the oldest Gen Z right now is around 27, 28 years old probably, or 26-year-old. So now when you have these 4 generations sitting together and you're trying to solve a problem, just imagine the kind of diverse approaches that come to a particular problem. So generational diversity includes gender diversity. It also includes cognitive diversity. And when you have all the 3 coming together, so you have a room where you have 4 generations, both genders, and 5 different approaches to a problem, then how do you take it all together? Within our organization, we have tried to capitalize on this. We said, okay, if we try to focus on the problems of this approach, then probably we will not get anywhere. So let's try and capitalize on these 4 generations. So let's say the baby boomers who are 55 and above right now, they have the wisdom, I would put it that way. They have the experience and the wisdom, so let's benefit from that. They might not be digitally savvy, but that's okay, because in that room you have people who are digitally born, they are digital natives. So let's use them if you want to do anything digital, but let's use the wisdom of these baby boomers who are there, who've seen all. They have lived in the timeline of history where none of us have lived. So let's take their wisdom out of that. The millennials are there who've had a very different kind of experience. Maybe for them, purpose and the why is more important. So let's take their opinion from that particular aspect. You have the Generation X who are like between the 40 to 55. They're stable in their lives. They have a family. They have a stable job. Probably in their corporate life, they've moved through 2-3 organizations. So the value of their I would say their pragmatism is something that we should leverage upon. So instead of looking at the differences in these 4 generations, what we are trying to do is to try and work out the value additions that they can do to each other. And I think that's working to our advantage. We've had the Gen Zs who've come into the workforce. If the oldest Gen Z right now is about 27-year-old, and they would have graduated from the university at around 22, 23. So it's been roughly 5 years. The oldest Gen Z has been in the workforce. And they bring a totally new perspective to life in terms of how things should be looked at. So while the baby boomers talk about stability, moving slowly, cautiously, the Gen Zs, on the other hand, want things to be done as of yesterday. So how do you try and match all of that? It becomes a significant challenge. So the strategy we came up with was that let's forget about the differences between these 4 generations. Let's pick on the value addition they can do. And these 4 generations of individuals in our company, they actually know, they have been told that this is your forte, so keep it to that. This is not your forte, this is the forte of this other generation, so let's focus on that. Of course, it's not easy. It took us a while to get these 4 generations together to understand, but I think we've got it. I think we now are at a position where we're able to leverage on the strengths of these 4 generations, and in terms of moving forward as an organization, it's really helping us out. Also, something that in one of our brainstorming sessions, which came out, and this came through a Gen Z actually, who said that when we talk about mentoring, mentoring generally is a senior, experienced individual giving advice to a younger, less experienced individual. That's how mentoring generally works. But then the idea that we sort of explored was reverse mentoring. So we said, okay, why can't this Gen Z be a mentor to a baby boomer? Because the strength of the Gen Z, if it's digital fluency, and we're doing a lot of work on technology and on the digital side. So why can't this 25-year-old stand in the boardroom and tell us about what they know and what they think can work for us in terms of our digital strategy? So we did that, and of course there were a lot of eyebrows that came up. We are more experienced, but then it's again normalized, because a lot of the ideas that we picked up from these younger workforce, and we actually implemented them because they made sense. Today, some of those ideas have gotten us international awards. Just 2 days ago, we won an international award in Singapore on our digital marketing strategy. And the whole seed of that strategy about 7 months ago came through a conversation of these 25-year-old members of our team who said this strategy could work. And we actually, when it came to me, it made sense. I said, okay, let's go ahead with that. And it's a digital strategy on wellness and well-being that we launched. And just 2 days ago in Singapore, we won a regional award on that. So in terms of the outreach, because when you do a digital strategy, what you're looking for is the KPIs that you want to achieve, because it's all quantifiable. And that strategy, or at least the seed of that strategy, was planted by these Gen Zs. So that's just one example of how things can actually work. So again, something we're trying to normalize within our organization. It's been a journey of a few years, but today again I feel that we have almost got it together. It'll still take a bit of tweaking in terms of how we move forward, but getting these 4 generations to work together, leveraging on the strengths of each other, is something that is already benefiting our organization. It is obviously a cultural shift as well when you talk about these kind of things. But then when we look at our customer base, for example, So there are business segments where we want to tap into the younger. So we want to tap into people who are under 30, for example. So who is the best person within our team to tell us how a 25 to 30-year-old thinks? What exactly do they want from life in general? It's not me. It's not someone who's like, in terms of an age at an advanced age. It is actually people who are of that age bracket. And that's how we go to them. We say, okay, this is what we want to do. If we want to improve customer service for people under 30 or 35, we go and talk to our team members who are actually of that age. Because the insights that they give to us, apart from obviously research and all the other things, but the in-house insights that we get from them, they are invaluable, and they have actually worked for us. So if you're planning for the future customers, our future individuals who are going to enter the workforce and eventually become customers of insurance, for example, we need to take the viewpoint of people who are closer to them rather than people who are far away from them. And it's really helped us in terms of improving our customer service, in terms of even things like customer communication. How do you talk to a 25-year-old? And that's where this generational diversity has really helped us. At the same time, we have products for people at advanced ages, 50, 55, 60, 65. We also have products for that. That's where our team members who are of that generation, they are able to tell us that, these are the aspirations of this particular age bracket. So this is just one example of how we are trying to bring it all together. So I thought it will be useful just to share my thoughts on and the experiences of EFU Life on at least these three aspects of diversity: gender diversification, gender diversity, cognitive diversity, and generational diversity. Because within our organization, we have put all three together in motion, and we have seen over the last couple of years how one, two, or three, or all of them have really helped us take our business forward. Coming to the last part, the inclusion part. So, as I said in the beginning, I think inclusion is the glue which connects all of this together. So, you could have all three parts of diversity working very well within the organization, but if you do not make people feel included, okay, so let me define what inclusion is for me. And I think today also you might have covered some aspects of inclusion. So there was one of the groups said PWD, persons with disability, is one part of inclusion. Maybe like working mothers or providing support to mothers, in terms of inclusion. Obviously, all of that is there. But for me, probably what matters more is what I would call micro-inclusion. So even things like who gets invited to a certain meeting. Okay, so if you just, okay, this might seem something very simple, but if you are including individuals who will have diverse thoughts, or if you're not including them, if you're excluding them, that actually shows the mindset of the organization that inclusion, is it something that they practice on a daily basis, or is it something that you practice as a project once in 3 months or once in a year? Inclusion today, and the same goes for diversity today, is an everyday thing. It's not something that you switch on and switch off based on certain needs of organization. This is embedded into what you do. It has to be done every day. Same goes for inclusion. So I was talking about micro inclusions. What I mean is little bits and pieces of inclusion. So things like who gets invited to a certain meeting. If you invite certain people with different mindsets, different approaches, that's inclusion, because you're doing that to improve the value of the conversations which will happen in that meeting. Active listening is also part of inclusion. So we might think inclusion is an act of getting someone included into a setting, but active listening on its own is inclusion. If you have team members and they're giving you ideas, if you're actively listening, acknowledging, and eventually acting upon some of those ideas, that itself is a feeling of inclusion for that person who actually was giving out their ideas. So I think for me, that's also very important. Another aspect of micro-inclusion could be seeking input. So you might have people who you've invited to a meeting as a very basic level example. But if you're not seeking input from them, do you think they're included? So physically, yes, they are included, but in terms of the value that they could add to that setting, they are excluded, totally excluded. So who's invited to a meeting? Are you actively listening to what's coming your way? Are you taking input? I think all of that are very, very important components of inclusion. And maybe at times these are little things that we probably forget. We think including someone, bringing them into a setting is enough. But then how do you engage with them? What energies do you exchange with each other? All of that also the significant part of inclusion. And then for me, inclusion also is I would say the psychological safety of being able to give your views and be included in a certain conversation. It is also a respect that you get in a certain setting. So if you've invited someone, you feel you've done your job in terms of inclusion. But if during that interaction there is no respect, then that's not inclusion. So you physically invited someone, but then if a certain conversation is devoid of respect, then that is not really inclusion. So for me, that's also very important, that how do you actually interact with individuals. So irrespective of title, gender, background, I think the first group spoke about educational institutions and the bias towards certain institutions and not. So remove that bias and include everyone as long as they can add value to the whole conversation. Because the cost of exclusion is quite severe, which I think at times might be difficult to quantify. But if you try and sort of put it together in a checklist, so attrition. People eventually will leave because they feel that they have great ideas. They are better off going to some other organization and giving those ideas and getting them to work and getting them to work for the benefit of that organization. So they will leave. Disengagement, that happens. So people become quiet because they are excluded. And then again, as an organization, we miss out on ideas because we're not including people into the larger conversation. So at EFU Life, again, when I talk about including people, we have diverse cross-functional groups where it's not just department heads who are part of that group. We have people across the spectrum of the organization, junior employees, junior in terms of their hierarchy. Because, as I said, when we sit together in a room to discuss an idea, we all are equals. And that confidence alone that's given by me and my executive team to everyone in that room, that confidence alone just gives that spark to everyone that they want to contribute to what's happening. And when they see that idea being executed and 6 months down the road, results coming in, it just makes them, that employee is not going to leave you because they know that they were valued and they were included and their diversity was celebrated rather than taken as a difference of opinion. So I think this is all I wanted to talk about, these these 3 types of diversity, and finally sort of sticking it all together using the glue of inclusion and sort of bringing them all together. And our next 3 years plan is significantly focusing consciously, not accidentally, on all of these areas. And I do feel that what we are trying to do at EFU Life is going to be a role model for the entire, at least the insurance industry, if not the financial sector. And I also feel that the success of our business moving forward, and insurance is a very competitive business, I would assume, just like any other sector. But because we are in it, so we probably feel the pressure of competition, maybe obviously a lot more. But I feel, apart from having the best products and the best technology and the best distribution channel, I think these factors, diversity and inclusion, and these 3 types of diversity and this inclusion, I think is going to be that differentiator that will take our organization forward compared to our peers. And our entire leadership team is focused on that. And I do feel that what we're trying to do is to think in that direction. And I gave you a few examples. So we are acting in that direction. And we want to be the leaders and the champions of diversity and inclusion in Pakistan. And that's the vision we have. We've taken baby steps. Whatever I described to you, at least for our organization, these are significant achievements, given that we have a legacy of the last many decades, and there are a lot of new, fresh ideas we're trying to bring into the organization in the last few years. But if you look on a larger scale, these are still baby steps. A lot more needs to be done, to a point where gender doesn't matter, to a point where your title designation doesn't matter, to a point where your difference of thought doesn't matter, as long as what you're contributing adds to the overall picture. It increases the value of the organization, it increases the value of the individual, it enhances, it gives a roadmap to that individual for their own personal grooming as well. So I believe all of these things need to come together for the entire picture to be completed. And that's what we are trying to do at EFU Life. So I believe I'm almost on time. I'm on time. So thank you very much. I hope these ideas were useful to you. Do try and go back and implement in your organization if your organizational culture permits you to do all of this, because these are bold things to do. Unless this comes from the top, it's not going to happen. But in your capacity, if you have team members reporting into you, try and see if you can implement some of these. You won't lose anything, but I'm sure you can gain a few things out of this. Thank you very much. A pleasure being here. Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Generational diversity.
Yes.
As a group, you have implemented policies where you are addressing all the 4 generations to work together. So what kind of policy would that be like? What kind of intervention would that be?
Okay, so we have created, I would say, these platforms, I would put it this way, where these generations are able to come together in a safe space to share ideas. Okay, so as an example, we launched a well-being segment last year. So wellness, well-being, generally when you think about the concept, what comes to your mind is younger individuals, because they probably are more aware of their health. And when you go to a gym, for example, generally what you see are younger individuals who are very active and they are very conscious of their health. So we have a platform where interaction happens, a lot of events happen in the organization, and there's a lot of interdepartmental and engagement happening. But within that wellness segment, we have, I would think, Dr. Haya, we have all the 4 generations part of that, right? So you have the baby boomers also very actively engaged in that platform, and you have these Gen Zs also who are leading the whole activity. So that's just one example of creating a safe space where everyone gets to engage with each other in a slightly more relaxed environment, but is able to contribute to the bigger goal. So this is just one example of what we have tried to do. And I think it's working out for the organization. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if we have 5 minutes maybe for questions, if we have the time, you can, or any comment or feedback, or maybe there's something you disagree with what I said, As I said, cognitive diversity is that, if you disagree and you have any other thought, do share that as well. Otherwise, you can follow me on LinkedIn, and if you have any questions, you can always come back to me on LinkedIn. Ji, please. Okay, so resistance in terms of which particular area? Okay, so I think in the workshop also there was talk about a lot of things have to come from the top. So you could say that this was how I operate as an individual, because I've always been, at least my professional grooming has happened in a way that sitting on the top, you should be aware that you know the least, and you have experts who actually know more than you. And if that's the thought that you have, then you just open up the whole conversation. You give confidence to everyone. So I would say that, yes, this is something I believed in. And I gave everyone that confidence and safe space that, look, this can work. So of course, resistance was there initially, definitely, because concepts like these are a paradigm shift. You're moving away from the normal culture of how corporates operate, and you're trying to do something new where you're trying to bring in new ideas, which probably are, these new ideas might be working very well in other countries, in more mature markets maybe, but trying to do something like this in Pakistan. So I think I had to make a lot of effort, I would put it that way, to get the management team, the executive team on board that this is the way forward. And then also to individuals who don't interact with me too much, because obviously when you're working in a hierarchy, I don't meet everyone every day. I just meet like 4 or 5 key people every day. But maybe once a quarter I meet more people. But I made it an effort to start engaging with the heads and then even their number twos in the initial days of when I took over as CEO. And I think that ice breaking was needed for them to understand that this guy sitting on the top is just like us. He's no different. And when that ice broke, I think that's where people realized that they could actually practice all of this, which I was asking them, or at least advising them to do. So yes, it did take effort. I had to make extra effort to reach out and to show that this is something that I would want the organization to move forward. And the fact that over the last couple of years, our financial results, our brand image, all of that has benefited out of it. So I think everyone is now convinced that this is the way to go forward. Okay, thank you. Sure.
What was the driver? You obviously are speaking from a position of great conviction and passion, and you have made that change in your organization. Why did you do it?
Okay, so this is a deeper conversation, but okay, I'll take 2 minutes. Okay, so let me connect it to the insurance industry. From all of you who've interacted with the insurance industry, so this is an industry which is not, I would say, a preference for young graduates to come and work for, and this is a fact which I know. I'm part of the industry, so in my capacity, what can I do? So people say it's a difficult industry, it's a boring industry. Unlike banking and FMCG and the telecommunications sector, all the digital, these digital wallets, so people, a fresh graduate wants to go and work there. So how do we attract individuals to our industry? So there was a bigger purpose to not just improve the brand image of my organization. It's a credible organization, it has a legacy, it has a history, but to try and see if through these efforts that we do within EFU Life, can we actually improve the perception of the insurance industry? Because we find it difficult to attract talented, good individuals. Right now we have so many new verticals coming up. Well, at least what I've seen in the last 6 months is that we've had bankers applying to us now, which was very, very unknown for us. Banker would never apply to an insurance company. We have people from the asset management industry applying to us. We have people from digital platforms applying to us. So we probably have done something right. And I think it all stemmed from, because I've spent my entire life, right from a trainee position to today, in the insurance industry. So I would say the passion to see the industry be seen in a positive spotlight, I would put it that way. That was probably one of the starting points. And then there are a lot of other things we are doing. We are doing unconventional products and unconventional ways of reaching out to customers. So all of that is helping. But I think what I spoke about today, that has had an impact. Otherwise, a banker or a person from a telecommunication, one of the 4 companies, would never apply to us. But they feel that perhaps this is an organization to work for. So without going into the deeper details, but I think this was that starting point. And if this helps the industry, if it helps our competitors, that's fine, because it's helping to grow the industry. There's so much room to grow. So this was one of those factors which sort of got us together as a management team to think in this direction. Yeah. Thank you.